Hello and welcome to my very first YouTube video, which, as you can tell from the title, is going to be a parts overview for the PC that I'm about to build. Now, the reason why I'm building this PC is just because it's a great hobby, and I'm going to combine that hobby with another love of mine, which is ASMR. So this video will be done in the style of ASMR, which is Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. And so by combining those two, hopefully I can keep my passion for both of them going. Alright, so let's begin with just a quick parts overview. And then the next video will be a more in-depth look at each one of the parts. I may do a separate short video for each one of the parts, which should be about 5 minutes depending on the part, but yeah, I hope all of you enjoy. So to begin, I am building with a Core i7 6700K CPU, which I have in front of you right here. It fits into the LGA 1151 socket on the Z170 motherboards. Turning it around here, you have a nice little window view, and I think it's so funny that they have these window views of the central processing unit, but you have a nice little window view of the CPU itself, and I probably just flashed the serial number for my CPU. I don't know if I did. Did I? No? Okay, well that's probably a great thing. Alright, so to start out, i7 6700K. We are going to be putting that i7 6700K into this MSI Z170A gaming M5 motherboard. And I've built 3 PCs, and I really like MSI. I like the color scheme, I love the dragon, and not just because I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan, but I love that they put this red dragon on their gaming line of motherboards, graphics processors, and everything. So pretty much going to be an MSI guy as long as they keep doing this color scheme, because I love it. I haven't had any problems so far. Hopefully that continues. And yeah, so this is the motherboard we'll be using. As far as the RAM, random access memory, that we are going to use in our rig, we're going to be using the G.Skill Ripjaws 5 memory, and I'm going to try to hold it far enough away so that the serial numbers on the RAM can't be read, but yeah, I liked the G.Skill Ripjaws 4, and I really liked the way the heatsink looked. I actually liked that heatsink a lot better than I like this heatsink, but this one will do just fine. And we have 2 8GB sticks of memory. That's what we'll be using for RAM. As far as storage, and this is a part that I am very excited about. I saved up and I saved up really for all of these things. But next we have 512 gigabytes of storage, and that is on a Samsung 950 Pro M.2 NVMe drive that we're going to slot directly into our motherboard. And this will give us really good read and write speeds, a blistering fast boot speed, so the computer will turn on very quickly. And yeah, I'm excited about this part. And it should have a really long life. The Pro line of all of Samsung's drives are kind meant to have a much longer life. Alright, let's move on to the CPU cooler. And this one, if there are any computer savvy people out there, they will know this is a crowd favorite, but I got slightly different than the crowd favorite. The go-to CoolerMaster Hyper 212 LED. Well, the go-to is the Hyper 212 Evo, but I decided to spend $4 more on top of the $29.99 that the CoolerMaster Hyper 212 Evo costs, and picked this one up. And this is really kind of a placeholder, because later, just for looks, I saw the NZXT, let's see, I believe it's called the Kraken X62. Actually, it might be 52. Well, the X52 and 62 are both pretty much the same as far as the block, but I'll show you all that cooler and why I fell in love with it later. But very cool cooler, so to speak, and but this one is the one we're going to be using in the meantime, since that 6700K CPU I showed you earlier does not come with a stock heatsink. So this is a must for the build to come together. Okay, let's see. To go along with that, a lot of you are going to think this is silly, and I realized it after I bought it, but we have a tube of Arctic Silver thermal paste. And the reason why this is a little bit silly that I bought this is I realized that the cooler that I bought typically comes with a little tiny tube of thermal paste in the box. So now with that tube of thermal paste and the tube of thermal paste from the last Hyper 212 Evo that I bought, I probably have enough thermal paste to last me 3 lifetimes of CPU building. So yeah, we have this here, and it comes in a nice crinkly bag. For you crinkly bag lovers out there. And we'll move on. Okay, so as far as getting power to all of these components, actually we'll go with not the power supply next, but really one of the things I'm most excited about, and I almost didn't get it, but I picked up an MSI, again, gotta love the dragon, GeForce GTX 1080 graphics processing unit. And this card will this is a ridiculous card. This card is overkill for pretty much all games, unless you're running it in VR or 4K or anything like that. But it's got, well, I'll overview it in a second, but as you can tell, it looks great. The shrink wrap got a little damaged in shipping, but that's not a big deal at all. But, so we'll be using this GPU, and this is an upgrade from my last rig. I had a GTX 980 Ti, so not a gigantic improvement, but I saved up, I had the money, I guess, so I don't know, still paying it off. Alright, moving on to supply power to all of these components. For our sweet, sweet juice machine, we have the RM750X. And so this is a Corsair power supply. I also fell in love with Corsair over the course of a few different builds because I like their branding, I like their product. I haven't had any problems with any of their products. I've bought their cases, their power supplies, their mice, and their keyboards. My last computer case was also a Corsair Carbide Series Spec 01, I believe is the name of it. I'll put a link to the PCPartPicker list for that rig, which I call Valkyrie. Anyway, so we got 750X. It's probably a little bit overkill, but that'll give me plenty of room to put in LED lights, perhaps a second graphics card in the future, and just a little growing room, and it'll still not be too terrible of overkill. But what I like about this power supply is that it is modular, fully modular. It has a 0 RPM mode, and the X designation. This is different from the RM750 regular edition, because the X means that this is now using Japanese as opposed to, I believe, either Chinese or Taiwanese capacitors. Please let me know in the comments below what the old capacitors, where they were made. Alright, so that's the power supply, and last but not least, as far as components go, we have, just because our motherboard doesn't have it natively, I am trying a new wireless card. I used to use a Gigabyte, the old standby $30 Gigabyte, random number, random letter one, but now I'm using this ASUS random designation that doesn't really mean anything to anyone, wireless card. So the reason why I picked this up is it supports wireless AC. It's dual band, which is pretty much the newest standard, and it also has Bluetooth capability, and it should give us really fast speeds. So I like ASUS as a company as well, so we'll see how much I like this card. As far as putting it all together, I highly recommend, you don't need a lot to build a PC, but I highly recommend this Rosewill 45 tool PC building kit. It has everything you need to build a PC, right down to this little tiny screwdriver. It has tweezers. It has this nice long screwdriver bit, and this, I forget what this tool is, but anyway, this is only $23 on Amazon, or at least it was when I bought it. The tips of the screwdrivers are not magnetized, but I will post a video later showing you how you can magnetize anything using the next item I'm about to show you. So I highly recommend this toolkit. For unboxing all of these items, I'm going to be using this Gerber knife that I picked up at Home Depot. I really like this knife because it was $30. It looks really sharp. That was a stupid pun, but anyway, did not intend that. But I like that if you're cutting something very substantial, or you need to saw, that it has this little finger loop. It feels really like well seated into your hand, and it's ridiculously sharp. Like literally ridiculously sharp is what I mean. And yeah, it's made by Gerber, which is a great company, and that's what we'll be using for unboxing. It also has a little safety. It stops right about there with just a little bit of resistance, so you can get your fingers out of the way before closing the rest of the way. So now with my last item, just to keep all those screws in the right place, I have a Titan magnetic parts tray, which that's really all there is to it, but we're going to be using the bottom of this to magnetize our screwdriver. Alright everyone, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe. Hopefully this is the start of something great, and I will, the next video will be making the actual build. Thanks for watching.